We are going to find out who's in and who's out in Doug Ford's new cabinet today. Ford's PCs swept to their third straight majority government just 2.5 weeks ago. And today at the Royal Ontario Museum, the Premier and his new cabinet will officially be sworn in.
Now, in a caucus of 80 MPPs, one more than last time, Ford will have plenty of decisions to have made. But so far, we haven't had too many hints of what changes we could see. But perhaps our next guest has some ideas. Jessica Smith-Cross is the editor-in-chief of the Trillium, an online publication covering all things Queen's Park. Joins us again this morning. Jessica, always good to see you and get your take on this. It's interesting here. We really haven't had too many hints about, leaks of who's in, who's out, maybe a tariff minister. But what are you hearing about what the makeup of this next cabinet could be?
Yeah, no, we've heard the same thing as you, which is not much. And what we have heard has been expect the status quo. The government was elected on the promise to do more of the same, to be the kind of steady hands that can take the province through this whole Trump tariff crisis. So it would be very surprising to see them shake it up a bit. And so that's what everybody we talked to told us.
How likely is it that there could maybe be a minister or someone appointed to be in charge of the portfolio when it comes to trade? I mean, that's all we're talking about. This is a priority for the Premier. It's essentially why we went to an election.
Yeah, Ford has actually ruled that out specifically. He says it's going to be a multi-ministerial effort, but he's also been the guy to do it himself. He's framed himself as the negotiator, the one who wants to sit across the table from Trump, the one who can do it. And just as reporters around Queen's Park, we see that he's very involved and very invested in this. He came out to talk to the media yesterday just because he had something he wanted to say. It's sort of the thing that he's been doing himself and personally. So expect to see him lead that file.
What I find also interesting, Jessica, is, Premier Ford also considers himself to be sort of a money manager, wise with money. That's sort of one of his sort of selling features that he pitches himself as. However, if you take a look at Mark Carney, who's just cut the federal cabinet by about a third, maybe a little more than that, down to about 24, it sounds like Doug Ford is going to keep his cabinet still fairly large amongst a caucus of 80 here. Is there a surprise there at all that he hasn't decided to slash his budget to sort of more align with the financial times that we're in?
Yeah, he started out back in 2018 with a smaller cabinet than his predecessor, but it's inched up and it's inched up and it's inched up. And that's actually fairly normal for a government because you've got to manage your own caucus and everybody wants to be in cabinet. So keeping everybody happy. And Ford's cabinet didn't actually give him a lot of room. Almost everybody ran again, and except for his nephew, Mikey Ford, who didn't. There's not much space for him to play with if he wants to add new faces.
When you look at the overall cabinet here, I'm wondering who you think might have the most challenges, the biggest job. I mean, I'm thinking of trade again, just given where we are right now and these constant updates with what's going on with the U.S. Who do you think has the most responsibility if nothing changes?
Yeah, Ford himself, if we see him as the leader of that file, which I do. There's also health. The opposition parties, especially the Liberals, did try to make the last election about health and may not have fully succeeded in that. But there are a lot of challenges ahead there. And Sylvia Jones has been at it for a while. She has a plan, a heavily criticized plan, though, by people who disagree with her.
Jessica, I also wanted to ask you about the location. I was saying to Nick, it seems a little unusual to me that this swearing-in ceremony taking place at the ROM, not here at Queen's Park. We're giving our viewers a live look at the building here. Has this happened before? Is this unusual?
As far as I know, it's never happened at the ROM before. And when Ford took over in 2018, he kind of reinvigorated this tradition of a public swearing in. It wasn't something that was always done. It had been done before, like 30 years before that. But having the public come, like thousands of people come to the lawn of Queen's Park, was something that he sort of brought back and made a big deal of the last two times around. But then that was in the height of summer, and this is not. I'm guessing that's probably why they chose the ROM this time.
Yeah, I can remember hosting our coverage last time out, and it was a baking hot day on the front lawn of Queen's Park. We were all sweating in our suits. So, yeah, I suppose inside is certainly a lot better for TV anchors who are all dressed up with makeup and everything else. Jessica, just really quickly before I let you go, are you looking for any surprises? Is there one MPP that's been either newly elected, a star candidate perhaps, or somebody who you think might jump into cabinet that, maybe we haven't even thought of yet?
No, I don't have my eye on any of the newbies this time. Okay. Maybe I should. I'll start scouring my brain for that one.
All right, Jessica Smith-Cross, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll certainly check in with you. It's going to be another busy day, and we'll see what happens later on over at the ROM.
Yeah, thanks so much.